Dang, y'all really didn't have to come at my neck like that over that ice video. I was literally just trying to show my guy some love, nothing more. Every time I drag him on his own pods, y'all be like, nah, he earned that. But the moment I go after anybody else, suddenly it's, damn, you're being way too harsh. Then I try to flip it and show a little love, and now I'm soft, now I'm pandering, now I'm running a whole different type of show. What? But anyway, listen to this. I just finished watching today's episode of the JBP. The episode was titled Company Tardy Policy, and like clockwork, Joe somehow managed to pin what's happening behind the scenes at his job on us, blaming the audience for how his co-hosts or new hires feel on the show. He starts talking about how he doesn't care that Mona was late because she's new, she lives a million miles away. He's trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Not exactly leniency, but let's be real, that's basically what it is. And then he tells us we need to deal with it, keep quiet, and give her grace. Now, I'll be fair, I did start easing up because y'all weren't wrong. We were coming down way too hard on Mona when everybody else messes up too. But hold up, no. You're not about to turn around and put that on us. Clearly, something shifted with her behavior, because if everything were cool, she would have been late again today. Why show up on time if being late wasn't an issue? And on top of that, you ignored the real problem and instead chose to highlight the company's tardy policies when the main reason people are on Mona is that she talks way too much. She doesn't pick her moments. She doesn't read the room with the guys. She's not even trying to blend in or build chemistry with the team. She's just talking to talk. So I had to look deeper and do my homework to see if that's really her. And yeah, it started making sense why she's struggling to settle in. But let's be clear, you noticed it too. Because if we compare the last 2 episodes to this one and break down her talk time, it's easily a 50 to 80% drop. I'm not mad about it, but I am clocking it, especially since you made such a big deal about it supposedly not being a big deal. Either it matters or it doesn't, Joe. Pick a side. Pick a side. That said, I can't really complain. I can't sit here and pretend I didn't see the adjustment. Shout out to Mona, because last time she was on, she definitely read the audience comments. Don't act like she didn't. And she doubled down, because when ego kicks in, that's usually how it goes. You choose fight or flight. Last time, she chose fight. This time around, she chose flight. She said, you know what? Let me try what they're saying. A lot of people told her to chill, speak less, and pick better moments. And boom, she did exactly that. The episode flowed way smoother. But then I started looking at it with that third eye, like, I can already see where this is headed. Nah, seriously, I can already see the writing on the wall. And this is the part where it actually does land back on us, the audience. So yeah, Joe and Mona would be justified in calling us out for how we move. Because here's that third eye take. Listen closely. She's gonna talk less, she's gonna choose her moments better, she's gonna vibe where she naturally fits, and then what happens? We're gonna complain that she's not bringing the same energy she had when she first showed up. Now it's Mona isn't funny anymore, she's not cracking jokes, she barely talks now. Just like what we're doing right now with Queen's Flip. The very things that supposedly make you special end up being the same things that spark your decline, contribute to it, or worst case, become your downfall. So here we are, she's probably about to go on a run of solid episodes, unless she pulls that move where she's calm and reserved on the main pod like last week, then jumps on Patreon and goes wild. If that happens, I'll tip my hat and say salute. But if she hops on Patreon and stays quiet again, then it's like, oh boy, here we go, same cycle, different week. So respect to Joe for planting his flag and backing his co-host. Like yeah, sometimes you need that. Players want their coach to step in front of the cameras and say, yeah, he had a bad game, but factors were working against him, and I expect him to bounce back. He's better than that. That's exactly what Joe just did for Mona. Now the question is, does she receive that pep talk and prep talk, and does she recognize how he redirected all the smoke away from her in front of us, the audience, aka the media? Let's see if she capitalizes on it and comes out swinging over the next few months.
And people, let's be real. I know for a fact folks were canceling subscriptions like, yeah, this is my last month. And the wallets were talking loud enough that Joe had to acknowledge it. Loud enough that it became the actual title of today's episode. Now, when you get into the episode itself, a lot of people are calling something else out. They're saying Joe's too rich for this. Joe doesn't even sound like he wants to pod anymore. Joe looks uninterested. Remember 9 or 10 months ago when I said Joe's heart wasn't fully in this anymore and he was quietly looking for an exit? Do y'all really see signs of that? Probably not. From the outside looking in, it just looks like he keeps hiring people to improve the show. But the way I see it, he's hiring until he finds that one person who can tie everything together. Someone who can segue smoothly like Parks, bring energy like Mona and Flip, show up consistently like Ice, and still have a real personal connection with Joe like Ish. And because that person hasn't appeared yet, Joe has no choice but to stay put and act like this is still what he wants to do. Now, there was one thing he said that did make my ears perk up. It's not worth a whole video, I'm not making a shard clip out of it, but it definitely caught my attention when he mentioned that for her birthday, she wants a content building. And then on top of that, we're seeing all this hesitation around him even getting married. But I'm gonna leave that right there for now. We gotta keep our antennas up. Joe doesn't want a podcast anymore, that part feels obvious. But the real question is, where's the succession plan? Funny enough, they were literally talking about that today on the pod, breaking down succession in relation to rich families, the Lakers, Jeannie Buss, the Buss family, and passing things down generationally. Joe is clearly looking at it the same way. Like, damn, who's my lineage? Who do I hand this off to? He's probably looking at Trey, but Trey doesn't even want to do content like that. He's still early in his journey. He's choosing the rap path. That's a 10 to 15 year grind before he might even circle back to content, and maybe then Joe could game him up and pass the torch. And Lex? Let's be real, Lex is up there in age, and I'm sure Joe isn't trying to hand this over to his girl either. And I'm also sure there's a reason he keeps pointing out that 14-year engagement like Vanna White. There's intent behind that. Anyway, Mona, you did your thing today. I wanted to make sure that didn't go unrecognized, but don't let us dictate and reshape how you pod. I can't speak for everybody, but when I hop on the mic, I talk my talk after choosing a topic from what I saw today or from the last episode I watched. But my opinion, and honestly most of the audience's opinions, don't really carry weight. And that's essentially what Joe was saying. So do what you need to do. Listen to your boss, listen to the people whose voices actually matter in your world, and move accordingly. With that said, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Was Mona better? Was today's episode better overall? Did the chemistry feel smoother? All of that. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, you already know how we're rocking. You already know the vibes over here. We're just gonna keep leveling up. I'll catch y'all soon. Oh, and before I dip, make sure you check out the Patreon. Yeah, that money talk. If you didn't hear, he had Rory's ex on the pod. Plus, there were a few other moments that caught my attention and deserve a deeper breakdown. So make sure you tap into Patreon and check that out. I'll see y'all soon though. Peace.